yeah, Hat points out that there's a second welcome bundle, a $15 bundle. Bottom line is, I think that's the only two they've shown so far, but a general rule of thumb when it comes to your free-to-play gaming with in-app purchases or in-client purchases is that if you love that game and it's offering you a one-time purchase, like you now, this is not completely true, but as a general heuristic, one-time purchases, you're not allowed to purchase this again, are worth doing to for your game, because it means it's kind of a relative loss leader. I mean, we're talking about virtual stuff, so there's what's the value of virtual stuff? It's up to you. But in terms of the relativity of that game's economy, what a one-time purchase says is this deal is too good to just leave on the table. What we're trying to do here is get people to be comfortable entering their credit card in. And that's a classic loss leader thing for a free-to-play game, where you're trying to just give something so obviously reasonable and fair and valuable that you bust out your credit card and get yourself set up so that later down the road, maybe you're ready to make an impulse purchase, right? If your credit card is already in the system, you're more likely to impulsively buy some stuff down the road. And that's just good economic design from a free-to-play standpoint. And you see, but there's a lot of ways you can slice that, and there's some immoral ways and some predatory ways you can slice that. But in general, I think it's perfectly fine to have these kind of, you got to have it deals. Like I play a game where, an interesting way to motivate that initial purchase, and Magic the Gathering Arena didn't do this, but a game I'm playing does. And it's like, you create part of your welcome bundle one-time purchase is unlocking extra within your own client experience forever. So for example, here's an example of what Arena could have done but didn't do. Every new account gets exactly 10 deck slots. That's it, 10 deck slots. But hey, if you buy that $5 welcome bundle, that's a good value and everything. Not only do you get that good value, we also expand your deck slots to 50, right? And so, or you say, if you don't buy the welcome bundle, your first win of the day is worth 200 gold. Your second win of the day, but if you buy the welcome bundle, we give you a 25% bonus on all of your gold rewards, right? And so you just do these things that are so, like, when you do the long-term math, it becomes almost impossible not to buy the thing if you like that game, because it's $5 and it completely changes and improves your overall experience in the game. But my moral issue with that is then you're basically saying you're introducing frustrating blocking points, frustrating barriers in your game to try and motivate people to buy their way out of that. And I don't love that, but I do understand the baseline motivation of really giving you some elbow room, like extra RAM, buy the welcome bundle, double your RAM, right? You would do that. Yeah. So that's what they're up to there. Am I in the middle of my YouTube spiel? I don't even know. I should, somebody tell me, did I say hi to YouTube? How about I'll just presume I didn't, but fold all that into an intro. Hi, YouTube, or hi again if you if I've already said hello. We are here going to draft some Kaladesh Remastered. We've got a lot of free entries, and we're token entries for anything. We're going to use our one free entry here, but we were talking about how you can make a bunch of accounts and that you don't even need a real email. Like if you just wanted to draft a bunch of remastered today and for throwaway, no long-term value, you could make up email addresses and take your token entry. Although you only have 46 hours here, so get on it. You have a lot longer than that, though, to take advantage of the incredible website that is cardkingdom.com. That's my sponsor. They sell Magic stuff. Of course, it's not the digital variety. It's tabletop. And whether you need single supplies or sealed product, you can get it there. And if you use my links in all the various places, they know you got there from here, and they stay happy with me as a sponsor. So help keep me on the air by visiting Card Kingdom, and if you do business with them, it'll show up as a plus for me, and we can keep doing this. Anyway, I'm going to hop in with the free and move to the draft view here. See how long this takes to fire. How about right away? Mama's trying to work me on, soften me up on bling. Thank you, Mama. Yeah, East, every account you have has one free entry into this Kaladesh event. And the same will be true next week or even Friday for Ikoria, I guess is they did a 3 week free token draft series. And those of us who multi-account, we're getting super extra value out of it. Yeah, we got like 40 something hours. I think we just saw the countdown, but it's like by Friday morning it'll be rotated out. You know, that Thursday night switchover they do or whatever. All right, tackling the Kaladesh question. My love of Ether Chaser has been made quite clear. It's the only red card in the pack. That's something going for it. Peace Walker Colossus is not real. I mean, I've never seen it do work. You could imagine some vehicle deck, but it's not worth building around. This is like a build around D, you know. Monstrous Onslaught, probably the best card in the pack, though. This is this weirdly worded removal spell, but it's worded this way so that it is the best card in the pack. Like, it's like, all right, fine. I'll meet you at D+, true. Monstrous Onslaught, though, is great because since it has this weird wording, you can't get blown out by a response from your opponent. You just get the damage as it is when you started. Yeah, Whirler Maker is interesting. I find it a little clunky. I was never impressed by it. It beat me a few times, sure. And if you have the tools to go along, it's fine. But I'm going to take the sweet removal spell. And now we're kind of rewarded with we are rewarded with a Long Tusk Cub, which is one of the best. Is it the best 2-drop in the format that's not rare? If you get this on the play on turn 2, and your opponent doesn't have a block, they're done for. They're just done for. So I am all about it. Airdrop Aeronauts is okay. Dawnfeather Eagle has been an MVP against me. I haven't played Heavy White yet. I think I haven't played White yet. And I think it's a little underdrafted in the format. And Dawnfeather Eagle has been a champ. But hope maybe we'll wheel the tune. I don't know. If the tune is still here on the wheel, we're fist pumping. But I'm going to grab the Long Tusk Cub. And it says how good it is that I'm like not even really mentioning the removal here. I should, like, this is good too, but this is just a game-winning play on turn 2. It sometimes just snowballs into an easy win, and we're going to try to take advantage of that. So here's White being open. You know, we've got Thopter Arrest. We've got Hunt the Weak, which stays one color. And that's probably fair hat and math, but I will take it since we're talking about 3 mana removal versus 4, although this has some setup cost. But staying on color, cutting the green is good, but I don't love Hunt the Weak. I think we've learned a lot in recent times about what's good and bad about these fight and bite cards. And this is sorcery speed, 4 mana, and fight. Like, it's not good relative to something like Thopter Arrest or relative to the modern take on fight cards. That being said, I think it's good enough to continue to cut green and stay monocolored. But Rob is right that Arrest is way better. Another hunt. Era of Innovation, though. Foundry Inspector and Era are a little more build-around-y power. Yeah, there's black removal. This is funny. Our friend Ryan from YouTube, hey Ryan, comments a lot and pointed out that I was playing heavy black and totally glossed over this card in a pack in a draft earlier. I had trouble seeing this and registering it as the removal spell it is, and I did here too. So like I got to lock in that Daring Demolition is a top pick. I don't think Hunt is better than these two, honestly. I think, but we're not on the artifact front yet. Era is just is like a B+ build around to me, and we have the Long Tusk Cub to start it. But I do agree that Daring Demolition is the simple choice here. Media likes the Era. You see, that was the choice for me. Those two. Now I don't. Yeah, it's probably Swooper, Pablo. You're right. Also, blue-green is an energy color, which we would like with the Long Tusk Cub. Another way that you can make Long Tusk Cub even better is to have so much other energy that when you draw this on turn 7, you can make it a 4/4 immediately or whatever. So, don't you mean Shooper, Rob? We can take the Shooper. Shooper is the best card here. Like, Creeping Mold you think you want because it's artifact removal in this set, but it is so much worse for limited than just the common instant Appetite for Naturalize, right? Whatever it's called. Sky Skiff is playable. Revolution is good removal, though. We're just going to take the Revolution and try to find our second color here. We got... you can take Skiff, but I'm gonna feel out colors and try to find a lane. You don't think that did I call it good? Are you, I can't remember what I called it, but I mean, I think this is good removal. Did I say it was great, or are you suggesting it's not good? Serpent. Yeah, we are stacked at 4 on removal, kind of funny. But we're not going to play all of that. Serpent, we're not really on the Serpent path super well yet, but if we get there, it does some stuff. Yeah, exactly. Serpent over not much. Pick 8. I told you I love this here Dawn Feather Eagle. We don't have a white card yet, but we had a Welding Sparks. How do we pass that? Seems like people are... red also seems very undervalued by in the drafts I've done so far. Yeah, all the Creeping Molds you can shake a stick at, but we're going to take the various removal sliding through here and find our lane. There's enough fixing, especially, there's this possibility we wheel an Ether. I didn't expect to, really, but there's a possibility. And now we got a Subtle Strike that's the best card here. Theorist, though, you'd make a case for Theorist on the Long Tusk Cub front. We only have the one black card. I can't do memes while I'm drafting, man. We'll get there. Let's see. Theorist. Yeah, I'm going to go... I love Subtle Strike, but Theorist is more... we have more blue, and again, supporting the Cub is really interesting to me. And Revolution again. Wow. Apparently I disagree with Chad on how good Revolution is. I don't know. Have you read it? Have you ever cast this on turn 4 on the play? Have you ever? Oh, God. We'll take the squad here, though. Now we can take a Leave in the Dust. Although Puzzle Knot doesn't suck either. I don't understand this chat right now. Like, you're seriously criticizing a Chandra's Revolution pick over a bounce spell? I like killing them dead myself. Yeah, I like having a Puzzle Knot in the sideboard because sometimes they're so loaded with 1 toughness that you do it. Yeah, what did happen to the green? We kind of got cut. We should keep that in mind. Maybe we're not even green. But maybe we get hooked up in this direction. Ether Meltdown is really good for the green-blue energy thing. And that does set us up to splash red. I kind of like heading towards green-blue splash red. But I'm with you, Mike. We could do red-blue energy is another thing. But maybe I just want Welding Sparks. Although, gosh, the table's sending it around so late. Unfair and illegal. I promise you, Wizards is cool with it. You can go check their terms and conditions, and there's nothing about having multiple accounts, and they love that you're engaged. Remember that if you're not paying money for the thing, it's because you're the product. So in the case of you, Greg, they're happy that you're filling the queues, keeping things moving, and staying engaged with the product. Yeah, Rebel is a house, but I feel like we've slipped away from this a bit. I don't think we're black, and I know, and I hear the heed from Mike on watch out for green. Crane has never done it. The top 4, having enough density, I mean, it's got the vanilla test 1/3 flyer going for it, so it doesn't have to be incredible to be worthwhile, but I am very low on it compared to a lot of people, I think. Every time a crane comes up, it seems like people want to take it, but to me, it was just a 1/3 flyer for 3 or for 2, which is whatever. And we're nowhere near the right deck for it. If we had gone down this heavy artifact path, sure, but we're like, what? We're currently drawing 0 cards off the crane, like literal 0. Hey, this could be a nudge. Take this nudge. What a weird draft again. Last time I got tempted by a Constrictor, it kind of messed me up. But there's not much else here. We can get a Rebuke if we think we're blue. Ambition is real. But you don't need... That's not really... It's 5 mana card, draw 3, like, whatever. Yeah, let's take Constrictor just because, again, like if there had been something like Welding Sparks or a Pima Outrider even, I would have had to really question that pick. But I think in this case we can do it. We could take the Disintegration here and actually try to Jund them out. A little all over the place, but with very high card quality, so I'm okay with it. We'll figure it out. I'm going to take an Outrider, I think. This kind of marries the green. And if Mike is right, and this is a 1-pack green hookup, we need to finish our deck with black-red, or if we Jund them out in the 3rd pack. Don't have enough artifact production, I think, to run the Intruder. Appetite for the Unnatural is fine. If we're moving into the black realm, we could take a Screecher just to get up in the air, but looks like I'd take Appetite. That's fine. Yeah, Appetite or Screecher. And then a Poisoner here saying, yeah, maybe we are finding our lane. This is fine. And now we get a Screecher or a Cobra. I'm going to go with the Cobra. Artifacts matter. I mean, it can be a downside too, but I like a 2-drop over a 3-drop in these spots. Fretwork is totally doable, but we got the Vengeful Rebel on the wheel. Oh! Found the lane. Leaving the dust, indeed. How you like that leaving the dust pick now, Rob? How about a Screecher over an Artisan? I'd rather have the Flyer than the Reach. Another one. These are just playable. I mean, they're nothing special. And we're getting a little heavy on 1 toughness. Subtle Strike 14th or whatever is also great. Artisan does combo with Snake. That's fair, Mike. But do you like it? I mean, I'm hoping to not play Artisans is the thing. Like, I want other things that combo with the Snake. I don't want to play the Artisan just because it does. But like Fretwork Colony, that combos with the Snake. Probably Wheels, though. I'd take another Outrider and then try and wheel this Colony. Oh, sorry. Quicksmith Rebel is worth the splash, though. Let's check that out. We also regretted our splash, though. Should we just abandon the splash? I mean, it turns an artifact into a turn-by-turn shock machine. Shock machine or stay on 2-color target? We should end up with enough, like, 2 Pima Outriders, potentially more. Like, the thing is, this just needs a spare token or whatever. I'm gonna go with the Colony. I think I want to try to stay closer to the 2-color strategy. Now here is the bite card. This is where it's at. This is where it's at. Hunt the Weak is okay. Nature's Way is where really where fight and bite have evolved to, and it's great. Yeah, right now we don't have great splash tools either, but we'll see, so a lot of reasons to have just given up on that sweet red rare and try to focus on what we've got going here. But now we're getting, as Mike observed, green was not flowing from the right, so we shouldn't expect much green, and unfortunately, not much black here. I guess we can take a Fortuitous Find. Get back a Winding Constrictor. The trouble is, without a lot of artifacts, like if this isn't a 2-for-1, it's not really worth playing at 3 mana, and we really don't have the artifacts for it. But I also don't know what I'm taking here. If not that, Alley Strangler. Yeah, I guess Alley Strangler is okay. You're right, Logan. We'll take it, but I hope we can cut it. Stomper is not particularly playable. We do have this is awesome, but we're not splashing red. We're not splashing a Gearsmith, so it's Squad or Salvager, and I think Squad is fine. They both put +1/+1 counters on things, so they technically both work with Constrictor. Yeah, Brawler, but I'm off of red. So I'm going to take the Squad at least, knowing that we're black. Goggles. What's our Artificer count? 6 Artificers. We could play the Goggles. I mean, I'm off of red as I want to be green-black, gang. We might splash red, but I'm not splashing a Chaser. Well, you think we're going to end up... you think we're going to cut the green? I mean... Again, I'm going to take the Goggles. They, well, actually, that might be a mistake because these the Artificers in the deck might be all red. So I kind of looked at my Artificer count before having cut the red. And there is, boy, and what's our creature count? Again, and we don't actually have a lot of creatures in red. So actually our creature count is legit. So I like the Onslaught here. Couple of Onslaughts. Another Cobra is fine. And that makes me not want to splash. I mean, this is our first tool to really do the splashing, and we'll take it, but I don't think we need to splash the red for the same reason we didn't splash removal yesterday. Like, we have decent removal in red-black, so... probably cutting all the red. But we'll see what we... And the Iron Tread Crusher is not great, but it's playable. Yeah, we might be low on playables if I fully cut the red. We'll take a look. We'll take a look and figure it out. We already have an appetite. We can take a prism and set us up to be able to splash the red. That turns it into a reasonable couple of red splash. Yeah, we'll take the prism for that logic. Everything else there is we have or is pretty replaceable. Here's this fortuitous find. I think I'll take the monitor if we're going to be splashing the red. The monitor can slot in and it plays as an artifact, but then occasionally you can activate it when you do find your red. So I like that. That's fine. We'll see where we're at in playables. Maybe we get to cut it, but I think that was the best potential card for us there. And a near last pick Salvager is also fine. I don't know if we're going to play 2 or even 1, but I'll take it. It does work with the Constrictor. It's just that you want more, you want a little more synergy before you're running the Salvager, ideally. So here's another one to consider. Good point. Good point. Salvager's an Artificer. So actually, I like, given that, I probably like certainly cutting the Strangler. I just hate that puzzle knot. We're not even that energy. It was the green one, right? I don't know. I don't like that at all. We're not on the same page there. Yeah, I think between Prism and Map and especially Map helping lead to where is it? Vengeful Rebel revolting? Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, Mike. I just don't think we have the energy outlets. We've got Long Tug Cub. What else? Like, Cub is our only energy, as far as I can tell. Yeah, we'll decide on goggles after we fully understand what we want our creature suite to be here. Ah, that's fair. Poisoner. Sorry, I did miss Poisoner. I still don't think that. Do you think that's not really a reason to play a puzzle knot, though? I mean, I'm with you that if you feel like your deck can turn energy into cards or energy into advantage, sure. But oh yeah, don't worry. We're getting to the we got. I want to even figure out what our cut count is, and then we'll figure out what removal we're going to get rid of. We can probably get rid of the Crusher. Our creatures are good enough on their own. It's not doing that much. Yeah, these can be cut. That's fine. I wasn't expecting to play those. I was starting to cut the red and then got distracted before I cut those two. And then we get to shave lands by at least a couple for Map Prism. At least one. And we'll have that debate again if we want. But we're, again, pretty low down. Only Monstrous Onslaught in 5, and everything else is cheaper. So I, again, am leaning 16 here, especially with this Icicle at 2 and 3, really. I mean, we don't have a lot of 4s. I guess with the removal we do. We got 6 4s. But best of 1, pretty low down, with a Prism for some velocity and fixing. I like 16 again. 4 is enough. Onslaught. We have 4 creatures that are inherently 4-powered if we want them to be. We have the potential of Winding Constrictor making stuff big. We have the potential for Hunt the Weak adding to that as well. You might be able to convince me that the second one can be cut, especially if we're going to go to 16. But this suite of creatures, I think, is plenty for 1. Yeah, I mean, Map for land is pretty straightforward. I'm not suggesting when you run prisms, you get to cut a land because of the prism. I'm suggesting that I'm willing to go 16 total lands where I count Renegade Map as a land. And yeah, Druid is a good call, though. I forgot about that. That is more what you would cut a land over. But so again, same thing as yesterday. You could make a case for 17, but between Druid and best of one, I think 16 sources, counting a Renegade map as a source, is fine. That leaves us with 2, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16. Oh yeah, Colony has some serious downside. I really liked how somebody pointed out that Salvager lets us sack the Colony if it's getting out of hand for us. And to that end, I think I'm not playing all these Screechers. I probably want like at least a split of 2 Salvagers to 2 Screechers, or maybe even go to 1 Screecher, because we do got to get to 40 still. You like cutting a Cobra. We are pretty deep at 2. Although it's great. Well, it's not great with Hunt the Weak. It's great with Nature's Way. And yes, you're right that in this format, having 1 toughness is not great. Although the job of the Cobra is generally, well, if it plucks in for a couple damage here and there, fine. But mostly what it's trying to do is block more important stuff on the ground. But that's fair. We could do that. Call this a deck. Still got a great line of 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-drops is pretty good. I generally like 8 if I can get them, but 7 is solid. 7 is fine. And we do have other early stuff too. So it's Renegade map, though, is a land that you pay for. Oh yeah, let's check our Artificer count. But I did add Salvagers back, so I think we'll be okay. Artificers, we have 7 now. So yeah, we didn't have any. None of our Artificers were in red, so we're good. All right, I think this worked out okay. I'm going to fix the land now. And then when I get into the other view, Rob, I'll give you your meme. Strangler for the Mentor. Let's consider that. The Monitor, you mean? Or am I missing a Mentor somewhere? Oh, Monitor. I just misread you. I'm not dyslexic, but I do completely misread things a lot. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Let's think about that. Is Monitor the right choice? Activated Menace 3/2 or Inherent Menace 2/3? Yeah, it's true. I don't think we need to weigh that too heavily. Hopefully we have a Prism or Goggles that's doing that trick. Or just spare servos. Anyway, let me get back to this land question. Paid account has my faves, so we'll use those. Oh, we're not going to do green. We're not adding red. Oh, we are. We're going to splash 1 red because of the map. Right. We are splashing that. Shut up. I know exactly what's going on at all times. And we're on, we didn't end up with like a tune with Ether that needs you to really focus on the green. So we can kind of split fairly evenly between green and black and then just have the 1 mountain. Oh, is it? Let's see. Well, let me do the land first, then we'll figure that out. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm looking to add 12 more, so... Oops. All right. 14, 15, 16, yep. I mean, we really want this Druid, but I think this is fine. And then let's check. If it's an Artificer, yeah, Etherborn Rogue is what it is, not an Artificer. If we wanted to do the Artificer thing, we could bring in another Salvager, but I don't think that's correct. It might be correct to bring in, though. Monitor is certainly not an Artificer. But I don't think we want 3 salvagers. That's too much of this ability unless we're really doing that thing. We're not really doing that thing. So, all right, I'm going to make a final vote. I'm going to cut the monitor, and then we're going to figure out our final ad via poll. Monitor. Strangler. I'll throw, what's it called? Defiant. I'll throw Defiant on the list in case you think we should run 3. And then Screecher, if we want more air attacks, is also... Yeah, we can put the removal back on the table too. Again, you don't need too much going on for this to be good. Splitting up even 3 damage among any targets in this format tends to get a 2-for-1. We can do ranked choice if needed, but we'll see if there's a clear winner, clear favorite. Oh, what I wouldn't give for the US to start using ranked choice voting. Onslaught. Lightly, this is like a, early election here. This is not a presidential election. Low voter turnout. So that leaves us with 14. Is that okay? Yeah, it's not that big a deal to be at 14. You don't want to drop too low, but it's interesting to cut a creature for a monstrous onslaught when you absolutely need a creature to do this thing. But let's give it a try. I'll go with chat on the vote, and we'll call this, what are we calling this? The Cure. I just saw Disintegration, and it made me think of the Cure album, so that's what I'm calling it. I've been looking so long. Must be nice. Is. Ooh, even picked up a 3-drop creature. Great. Do need some more mana before we can cast either of these, but there's no more mountains left, so if we draw a land, we'll be able to cast one of these two. Subtle Strike is not going to be too subtle about how good it is on our next turn. Screecher, take a seat. We have a Mortarist to kill. Monslot number 2. So if you had a different vote or a different idea, you can imagine your card being here. Well, now we at least have Screecher on 3. Obviously, we want some land. Yesterday wasn't punished very much for... Not ever. In fact, I flooded a lot yesterday, which is just a sample size, right? I mean, you make these choices about your land, and your event really doesn't tell you that much about your correctness. But this sure shows us the drawback of the Renegade map, right? If this were just a basic land, we would have a removal spell if we wanted it, and Screecher as it is now. If I want to play a land this turn, I don't get to cast a Screecher this turn. That's kind of stinky, but we need the mana, so we got to do it. Mike would just Screech. I can't buy. I don't know how we win if we untap without another land, Mike. I mean, I don't know how we win. Like, it's early. Of course we could still win, but I really like ensuring the land. Mike says Screech. I'm on the land, and I'm willing to I guess they could. Now I'll stay back. They could play some SRAM's expertise or something and really make me regret not having a Death Toucher back to take care of this thing. So no attacks. Untap GG working for everybody. Let's see. Make sure. Yeah, it's on my side. Hopefully it's working for you. Skiffers. Well, this is going to be demolished at the very least. Though I like that demolition can pick off a Sky Skiff, but I think we got to get rid of the gremlins with the way it's currently going. Interesting. If I prism into a land, we could do. Well, then we're still just at 4, so whatever. I'm going to do 4 mana and kill the gremlins. That's true. Screecher does trade. Do you want to try and trade? But it's like, I just worry about that trample, and glad we have the Prism. Now it unlocks everything. We get these onslaughts. And I just feel like with the onslaught backup, I'm just going to be... Although none of this is instant speed, so it's almost like I kind of want to get the Skiff because we don't have good tools for removing it outside of the appetite, since our removal is largely sorcery speed. Like, what do we have that's not? Unlicensed Disintegration. That's about it. We've already used the Subtle Strike. So, Math likes killing the Skiff. You find it to be bad? I don't know. We don't have flying defense. If you don't have flying defense, it can just attack you 10 times, man. It's happened to me. Like, if they control the board and you don't have an air support, I mean, we have one. So maybe, but the Screecher being in the deck is probably enough to not use the Skiff, use the removal on the Skiff. So all I'm telling you is, is that I've been in many situations where this was quite good. I've come way up on it in this format. And it's the one crew, of course, that makes it quite good, in my opinion. The fact that some decks just don't have air support and others just have a lot of tokens makes it, at the very least, playable. Above replacement, in my mind. Now we can go Prism Screecher. We'll get a 3/1. If it lives, we can at least onslaught the Brawler. Makes Monstrous Onslaught a pretty bad removal spell here to pick off a Brawler for which is why I did cut one. I was convinced by whoever pointed out that our power level, our creature power wasn't so high that this is going to be an amazing card. So I was like, all right, we can cut one. Then chat, a very narrow margin. Maybe I'll do a revote or a re-exploration. But I can't do that, right? If I want to kill the Brawler, I can't block here with the Screecher, but I can at least trade for one of these. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, taking us to 8. We survive, and then we go to 8. We kill this thing. They've got a 2/2, a 1/1, a 1/1, and a thing they can crew. If they crew, we have the Screecher to block. So yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Druid, we can at least play. Oh no, we can't. We only have 2 green. And we do need to fire off the Onslaught here. I think you can crew a tapped creature, so there's a lot of pauses in this format due to the small crew. When a small crew is around and you have an untapped creature, so consider that if you're trying to read whether there's some instant or something up here. So now if you can trade with Skiff and drop a Cowl, we're stable. Or we can have our privileges revoked and be in serious jeopardy, but still mostly.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
That didn't help. But we can kill... Yeah, it doesn't work. We're dead no matter what. Oh yeah, we can... never mind. I was thinking this. We couldn't use this, but yeah, we can kill the 2/2 and the 1/1, and then we're not dead. Never mind. Thanks, G guards. I was just I kind of mentally checked out on the Screecher since it can't attack or block, but it can still be monstrous. Not stable though, and Garrett. Check it out. Look what's happening to us. We're being mauled by a Sky Skiff. Garrett, do you disagree with my point? Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. If you don't, I've seen it do incredible work against decks that are weak to flyers and strong on 1/1s. If you have a deck that just spits out random servos, I mean, it's so often that the servos just can't get through. And then if you're in that kind of deck, you can throw in a Skiff, and then you really do it really becomes like a 2/3 flyer at that point. And I said above replacement, and I'm not even... I'm going to back off on that, Garrett. I'll say it's like it's about replacement level. It's totally playable. I think that's just where I felt a little off from where you were at. You were like... Felt like you were saying bad, and I was at least saying playable. Yeah, I am too. I think we learned a lesson there, and I think we learned a lesson on the importance of early voter turnout in the preliminary, in the primaries. You got to vote in the primaries, or you get terrible candidates in the main event. So yeah. I'm just saying I lose to it often enough. I face that situation where it's like, well, darn, I'm stable, but they are plucking away at this darn thing. So yeah, we could get some. Speaking of, we could get more in the air. And then that does give us another largely 3-power thing at least to make this thing okay. Yeah, let's do that. All right, losers bracket, we're coming for you. 7 wins. All in a tidy row. Ready? I actually don't really think this is a 7-win deck, but you never know with Magic. So we'll try to be optimistic. Although pessimism is the secret to happiness, the delta between expectations and reality. Burned by the splash, although, frankly, if I weren't running a mountain, it'd probably be a forest. Constrictor with Subtle Strike, Oppo going first.
point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed is good.
You tell him, whatever that character's name in that movie is. I think we've established that I am infrequently punished. Okay, well, here's where the rubber hits the road. If we untap with a Constrictor and the Poisoner is not bigger, then it's so good, because we can Subtle Strike to kill a Poisoner and put 2 counters on the Constrictor, but it has to live. And again, expectations. I expect it'll die on sight if they have any ability to do so. Whatever way, you know, the punch spell with the Death Toucher, for example. Yeah, we could totally set it up, but we don't have anything else to do on 2. If we'd had something else to do on 2, I'd be with you, but I think I like the line here. And this rare is real, such that I don't know if we're supposed to strike the Poisoner or the Siphoner. Oh, you mean Flyer before Subtle Strike? Sure, I get you. I just hate letting them, because I guess yeah, you're probably right, Mike, because my resistance is like I want to get value out of the Constrictor before they kill it, but if I get value out of the Constrictor, that means making the Constrictor a 4/5, and then they kill it and I didn't get value out of the Constrictor. So Gordon Gecko, that is absolutely correct. Thank you, Mama. So let's go ahead and run the Mike line here and offer up a Screecher to the board. Understanding that if the Constrictor is killed here, we didn't actually lose any value over trying to get value, because it would just be, the value would all be on the dead Constrictor. And if they do get our Constrictor here, we still have Subtle Strike making a decent flyer. And then as soon as we find an artifact, it gets even bigger. Naturally. Love it. Now we wreck house. Beat face, wreck house. You'd save that? This thing is great. I felt both of these needed to die. Siphoner is a value engine, and Poisoner is gonna kill some. I want to get in. Mike with the prophetic comment, making Oppo choose between 2 very good creature spells. Now Malphus Squad shows some value. It's funny, we can either, there's 2 ways we can extract value here. Malphus Squad as a 5/3 with a double Fabricate token, or we Malphus Squad, make a Servo, and then we Salvager, sack Servo, and make a 4/4 Salvager. So we can have a 4/4 Salvager and a 3/1 Menace, or a 5/3 Menace. But on this board, 5/3 Menace seems great, because we can attack with it next turn, and yeah, I'm just, yeah, fancy. It'd be fancy if I did it, Logan, but this is actually me happily at least identifying all of my lines and checking them out. What I really beat myself up on is when I don't even see the lines and don't even consider them, but I'm happy that we considered the line and rejected it. No attacks, they'll block. I mean, maybe they won't. It's a free attack, I guess. I'm not blocking on the way back, which means I should have done it before I squatted, but whatever. Yep. I promise you I'm better about that stuff when I'm off air, but I get into talking about what to do and then I just do it, you know? So, squad comes in. They must block 2 things. They do get to kill it, but it's a 2-for-1, and then we get to screech after and make another flyer anyway. If they double block on the, probably double block on the ground and leave the mauler, but then we can drop Screecher to trade there, and we have last creature standing. Not high quality creatures to trade for at this point, but I think we still do it. Still a reasonable 2-for-1. And unfortunately, well, we were never punished. We were slightly punished. The single black has kept us off a double spell here. Some serious lifelink action. Huh. Yeah, if you're going to do that, I don't know what this is. Smells fishy to me, but I will accept the suggestion. Can't really race it. I mean, if this didn't have lifelink, we could just say, oh, let's race, but we have lifelink. Hey, there's the second swamp, turn late. Now there's no need to send in the constrictor because it's not worth them calling our bluff, blocking, and gaining 2 more life for no advantage for us. I'm going to sandbag the swamp for now. I don't think we have any rummaging, but I like threatening something up here, although if I don't set some stops, it's not going to be sold very well. Yeah, they are offering it. But this is where I don't want to... I mean, I think we can race that, or at least it's even. It's trading 2 for 4. Do you want to try blocking? I kind of want to see if we can find something to sack to the Salvager and make a 4-4. For a good removal spell, the uncommon black-red. So I'm going to say no blocks, looking for a top deck to give us a better block. Oh, that's right, I named the deck after it. All right, deck, deliver some action, s'il vous plaît. All right, that's good action. Although it's not action I want to sack to the Salvager. Oh, we could. Sack it to the Salvager and it becomes a 4-4. Would we rather have a 2-1 Death Touch and a 2-2 or just a 4-4? Big old 4-4 on this board. They're out of cards. I think maybe big old 4-4 could be correct. But this trades for either, and then, like, we trade here, and then we could... I guess if we double block the 2-3 and single block the 3-2... Or actually, we get to single block the 2-3, single block the 3-2, and then have the Constrictor left. Yeah, I feel you, Garrett. Let's not get... And especially, I'm very nervous. You know, whenever I just sack my own stuff for no clear, huge value, it's very nerve-wracking. So I'm with you. We're going to keep it all. And consider whether or not we want to try the double block. And, you know... Yeah, exactly. It's just there's a lot that can go wrong with that plan. So let's do it this way. Wherever they put this becomes our Death Touch recipient. And now, an interesting question. With 18, I actually think we take this too. Let's see what we find. I don't feel the need to give up anything on this board to prevent ourselves from going to 15. I read somewhere that your life total is a resource and you shouldn't be afraid to use it. Are we going to use that as a resource again next attack? Let's see. Probably. I'll go to 12. Yeah, I'll go to 12. There we go. Now we'll just make this is a 3-3 and a 4-4 or a 2-2 and a 5-5. I think a 3-3 and a 4-4 sounds better than a 2-2 and a 5-5. Is that fair? Because again, we can go either way with this fabricate. Get large here, and now we got a nice kind of spread out of where our power is. Still can activate the Cobra, could send in the Salvager and be willing to trade it off for the Pillar Bug. Yeah. Although Salvager straight blocks the Wanderer, so I'm just going to pass. And we'll try to use our board advantage here and yeah, make a 6/6. Like again, I'm not ready to do that, Tron. I would rather just preserve the value. But now Druid is is much better as 2 counters on something on the Salvager, right? So we'll play the Druid and sack that, and then if we swing, if they block, we take out their Pillar Bug and their Wanderer. They have 2 cards. We could get potentially. Well, at the very least, we're trading 1 for 1 for a card up here, right? So I like that. Although 1 for 1 as I give up a full card, but this card isn't valuable right now. All right, let's see what you got, Oppo. We're gonna send this. You can 1 for 1 us from hand or 2 for 1 yourself on board. And we'll take either one. Or 6 damage, that's cool too. Yep, they have a 3/4 lifelink, which is what but we have 6 power. So hopefully this just is a fair trade, or this goes off as it sits here. Well, this is long gone. This is just like whatever. This situation right here is a 2 for 1. But fair enough. I'll take 2 for 2. All right, can we pull ahead from here? Or they can drop some massive play that pulls them right back. Right now we're advantaged, but not counting on it. I'm going to play the map, and this is a heuristic, not a heuristic, this is a habit I'm trying to get into. Map, upkeep, stop. Play the map, and as you play the map, put on an upkeep stop. They haven't shown anything for combat tricks, so I'm gonna, because we at this point want to thin our thin our deck of lands before we draw, and we can't do it now because EDB's tapped. So if we untap and then crack it before we draw, we have 1 fewer land in the deck to draw. Chumping it, yeah, as I say, this does not bode well for our Constrictor. Possible it's so powerful I should have just left it out of combat, but we are trying to get him dead. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you don't want to do it because either you're interested in drawing more lands or you really want to see what land you might draw before deciding what other one to get. It's very tiny value. Very tiny, but we chase the value we can find around here. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we could have held the salvager to try and make it even bigger, but we did what we did. All right. I can work with this. I could have played the swamp. They know about it. It just doesn't matter. We have so much mana. Hell, having 2 cards for discard isn't the worst. That's a tough card. We're going to send in if they want to trade for the Outrider, they can. Inventive. Can we... Yeah, this makes it a 4-5, and then we actually survive. Nice draw. Send both? I mean, it's got first strike. Are you saying you're willing to trade Cobra for damage? Oh, you want goggles on Snake. Why not goggles on... Yeah, I suppose, like... If we put it here, they can't even trade with it, though. You don't think they're going to be... You think they're going to race us and they're not even going to block here? All right. Well, that's a reasonable read. I don't know if they're going to think that way. Let's see. Just so. That's great for us, yeah. That's why I wasn't going to do that move. I didn't think they would do that, but okay. I guess I kind of did if I was worried about... Oh, whatever. You never know with people. You never know. Yeah, now we're on go wide, right? We don't need an artifact. We have the goggles, but... oh, I should have done it after combat. Oh, it doesn't matter. We have so much mana, we can do whatever we want. I'll just equip after combat. And yeah, let's go wide, because if they have single removal, then we get at least the 1/1 behind. That girl is poison. Give me that meme. All right, we brought it even. I threatened to run the table on the loser's bracket. 1 to the good on that. Unlikely occurrence, but 1 to the good. Yeah, it looks good. And just got better. We can need a second forest, but we could activate Death Touch and punch. Fnatic getting racy. Yikes! Don't suppose this is an instant. probably gonna have to let that happen. In terms of, like, getting the second... Getting damage and cards out of that. Yeah, do we want to is my question, because, I mean, like, at the end of combat, if Daredevil Dragster attacked or blocked this combat, put a velocity counter on it, then if it has 2 or more velocity counters on it, sack it and draw 2 cards. So, if we give up the Cobra via Death Touch to kill the Dragster, we're basically just taking a different form of a 2-card. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just let that happen, yeah, and play the snake and try to recover from this early damage. And to that end, I'm just going to attack with the Cobra. Well, nah, I would block the Fanatic. Well, actually, I wouldn't. I'd rather block with the Screecher and have the Death Toucher, because we really want the Nature's Way Cobra combo, so I'm not blocking with the Cobra next turn, so we should attack. That's the classic thinking. Are you blocking with that thing? If not, does it have good attacks? If so, attack. Well, that's going to be some extra damage for us to eat. But we're going to let this connect, drain us awfully low, and then try to recover with our hand. But it's going to be a tough one, gang. We're at a low life total. They're going to draw 2 extra cards here to try to finish us off with. But we have some reasonable stuff. Yeah, we do need a forest, and pretty soon, although... Yeah, that's not gonna do it. We could... And we can't hunt anything successfully here. We can only Nature's Way something. But I kind of like Salvager here and look to... well, if you swing both, what if they just don't block, Mike? You think they're going to block? Or you're thinking they're not going to block, and then what do you want to do? Yeah, I'm on... I mean, I could send the Screecher, but then I like Cobra... I like Salvager, hold Cobra mana, send Screecher. Seems reasonable. I can trade Salvager for Fanatic and Cobra for Engineer. Yes, although what I'm hoping for is that we Nature's Way one thing and then Rebel something else. Oh, a permanent U control, never mind. I don't know how Revolt works. We're in Make 'em Have It mode, and... Yeah, we got a double block. Yeah, Revolt is not... I mean, like... Because what was the other one? Morbid? Like, I was operating as though it was Morbid, which is also a tough mechanic to make work. Mike would take the 2-1. I'm just at 8, so I'm just going to try to trade where I can for cards or whatever. Because, I mean, we may just get blown out with a trick here. Right hat? Yeah, Treasure would have been a very nice addition to this set for that purpose. Or not even really an addition. I don't think you could just stuff Treasure in, but you could you could have done Treasure instead. So Nature's Way can kill the Monitor, and then we take an attack from the Engineer. That's all we got. not chumping with the Screecher, so I'm going to send. Oh, it had Vigilance anyway. I didn't read card. Whatever. As if you knew it had Vigilance. Well, we're at 5. Yeah, that's true. I guess we do the map to try to trade. But and we could also rebel for no value to make sure that we map is revolt, but not now. But here I am setting my stop. If we want to crack it ahead, I mean, we might want more land, but not really. So yeah, we're gonna rebel next turn and try to trade here. All right, that's what we wanted to see. Gotta go for the green as opposed to our red splash. That's true. I could have waited. But I also want action right now, so that's why I did it. Rabble, rabble, you tore your dress. Rabble, rabble, your face is a mess. I didn't need to do that before combat. I'm just doing my usual see it, do it, streaming type play. Why were you so exclamation pointy about it, though, Mike? What was your worry? What was your worry? Oh, sure. Point of power flyer. Gotcha, gotcha. Absolutely correct. I just missed it. Let's see. So this can pump, but not... Oh, yeah, I could pump up. But we don't... If it does that... I'm just trying to see if we do Onslaught or Hunt the Weak here, or even just drop Outrider. But with the Flyer, we got an Onslaught. Yeah, I was just seeing if we could, if we wanted to do this instead. But Onslaught's correct. And also wanted to make sure that, yeah, that Pia couldn't get toughness. If Pia couldn't get toughness, this would not be an acceptable play. If Pia could get toughness. Little worried about haste. There is haste in red. But I'm going to risk it for biscuit. Nah, my kids aren't into Magic. They're into D&D. They like the other Wizards mega property. I'm just saying, in the abstract, there is haste in red. I wasn't thinking of any specifics. I don't remember the set well enough for that. So now we can go Outrider and make a servo to get that point back. Does it? It doesn't. Well, it does. Yeah, let's do that, because then Outrider and Screecher become lethal next turn. I learned my lesson. I forgot that effect when I cracked the map early, but I remembered it this time. All right. Woo, close one, but we got there. That was tough. Yeah, we got rolled early and really clawed back. Thanks for the tips and lines, chat. We got there, despite my efforts to undermine your lines with some suboptimal plays. This is nice on the draw, especially. I get a little nervous with 2 land on the play, but on the draw, you get so many. That extra pull at lands is so comforting. No guarantees, but it's comforting. Hey, do you remember that we drafted a long tusk cub? Let's try and do that. Really sweet that we have both of these, because now we get to do this. So we start with a cub. If they don't kill it, but they do play, say, a 2/2, we can poison her to get some pre-energy, make it a 3/3 to get it through a 2/2. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case here, and I'm going to try to do some work to get it in. So we're going to go Screecher now over Poisoner. We could just take the trade. I mean, they'd snap it off, right? And we'd trade 2 for 3. So that's on the face of things an upgrade. But if we find a land, we might be able to make it happen. Like, it's still worth it to try and have this take over the game, because it absolutely can. And it still might from here. We've got some removal in hand. So let's try to get our removal online and clearing the way for cubbies. No luck there on land number 4. We can drop Salvager for max mana, or Poisoner to threaten a cub pump. Let's get Poisoner online right now, I think. It's not as mana efficient, but this isn't going to get through anytime soon anyway. Exactly. It's just nice to have that threat of 3/3 if needed. And we'll say no attacks and be prepared to trade our Screecher for the Pioneer, I think. Looks like a vehicle deck without the vehicles here. I'm sure they're in the deck. They're just not here yet, is what I'm saying. But both the Wheelsmith and the Infiltrator are plants for vehicle synergies. Feeling constricted. Well, I'm going to go Salvager now. And then if we find a land, we can decide what to do from there. Although we don't even need a land. Oh, yeah, that's right. If we go Snake now, we can just make a 4/4. But it's still not what we want for this spot. I think I'm going to play the Salvager to max mana. They might do something about our cubby, where I wish I had an extra point to give it. Like if they do 3 damage to it, you will all have a point about your point. But I'm going to max the mana and see if we can make that work. No surprise there, but we're going to try and pick off this Wheelsmith. Let's see if this works. Then the Screecher can get back to blocking the Pioneer. SRAM, SRAM, SRAM. Let's see what they get out of this. Nice! That's a great SRAM. Well done, Oppo. But we still got plans and outs and all that stuff. Come on, deck, give us some land. Again, with the not what you were asking for, but not the worst. I like pumping this up to 3 and Nature's Weighing the Aerial Responder right now. I know we're missing value here instead of 4, but I think this is right. I want this thing dead. I guess we could have given it a turn. Maybe I'm being hasty and I could have played the Constrictor and tried this play next turn. I mean, yeah, we are on 3 land, but 18 life. You could have made a case for playing the greed line there. And I like this, and heck, I don't know. Let's see what they play from here. Although, man, with this onslaught, a couple... Yeah, the problem is this is 2 turns away at best, right? So I'm going to keep trying to trade here. All right, we finally got our land. Good time for it, although I am going to use our cushion here of 17. And I'm going to play the Constrictor now. I mean, we have so much in hand that benefits from it. The Hunt the Weak would make this a 5/5. The Outrider becomes a 5/5. So if we can hold off for 1 turn, we start to go nuts. And we haven't seen any combat tricks from them. They haven't picked off the Cub. I don't think they have removal. So we're going to be a little risky here with our healthy life total. Yeah, there is an actual Inspired Charge in the set. We could just lose out of nowhere to that. That's a fair point. And Hat, because we live in the Matrix, has basically summoned Inspired Charge into our opponent's hand right now. It's like the only thing that explains this attack, right? So let's check for death. We have 3, 4, 5. So that's 10 plus 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Exacxies. Exacxies. Welp, indeed. But since it's Exacxies, if that happens, we actually have to block with Cub and then try to leverage Constrictor value next turn. We don't have to trade them both. We can just trade one, and then, well, I guess we're dead next turn if they do that anyway. Gosh, that's rough. How do we win after that? So let's say we do that, and they do the thing. So then we do the double. If we block like this, we lose both of our dudes, but they trade. And then we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We go to 6, and we're staring at Propeller Pioneer and 2 1/1s. That's not lethal in and of itself. So that maybe gives us another turn with like an Outrider on board. I guess that's what we got. Well, Constrictor's going to die right now. That's what I'm saying. But we'll block. I mean, if they don't have Inspired... Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Hat. Thanks, Hat. Thanks, Hat, for summoning that card out of the ether. What a jerk. Jerk! All right, how do we still win? We go Outrider, draw land, and get them. That's our plan. Yeah, Servo can trade 1 for 1. And then the Onslaught still does some work there, so I'm with you on that front. This would be a cool one to win. Despite Hat sabotaging us, if we could find a way to win, that'd be neat. That just made it a lot tougher. There is our land, at least, but what do we do about Angel now? I think we're just dead. So is there... anybody see an out? We've got... we can strike. We're getting hurt by our splash, by the way. I want to note that. Splashes are painful. We mulliganed this game because we chose to splash. Yeah, I don't see an out. Okay, we tried. I like how we played to our outs, but we didn't get there. Yeah, that is all on hat, though. Hey, Magic Gods, would it wreck us if they had that card? Oh, man. All right, let's get a couple more wins. Here, I'm even gonna do a par poll now. How many do you think we're gonna get? We're 2 and 2. Are we gonna get any more? Spoilers, I think we might. This looks pretty good, although double salvager not quite where we want to be. But goggles into it is nice because that makes it a 3-4 on 3 and colony doing work. Yeah. Yeah, Oppo had a great charge deck. No problems with Oppo's deck. Also an Artificer. Menicifer. Hail to the Chief. No attacks here. Just Salvager pass. Turn 2 colony is a beastly play. It doesn't block, but it's a beastly play. Thanks, Mike. Looks like it's not going to matter this time, but I appreciate the reminder since I screwed that up before. I'll still do it that way. And yeah, let's Chief of the Foundry means that our servos are going to be way outclassed by Oppo's presumed servos. I'm kind of in Malphus squad for Big Z's and attach the goggles and make him answer it. That's fair. Servo for Salvager is also real. Maybe that just means the lines were much closer together than I was thinking, Mike. This is fine. We get Salvager, move, equip, and Cobra while attacking. Yeah, and your line was better in retrospect. Not that we should be results-oriented, but this possibility of removal is a reason why you consider the go wide line. I will remember we can hunt with squad. That'll be probably our play next turn, although we don't want to hunt with squad because it wastes a +1/+1 counter. Yep. In fact, maybe we should just eat it now. I like that. Let's eat it now and get this as big as possible. Although Skywayler's shot and the like get better, but yeah. Let's do this. I love the Fretwork Colony as a design. Like it's a fun, it's a really scary card, but it's very beatable. Like it's not a bomb. Even on turn 2, it's not a bomb. It's just a very interesting fuse, right? Like it's this threat that's looming and getting bigger and bigger. But it's hurting me, you know, and like the punishment of getting it pacified when you don't have a sack outlet, that kind of thing. Worried about all this open mana, but not much to do besides make him have it. We could move the goggles. Goggles onto Cobra says we can get through with this as well. And then everything just gets through. The only reason to not do that is if we want to hunt the weak, the Foundry. But I don't think we need to do that this turn, so I'm going to move it. Oh, pauses from Oppo. We'll see if that means something as we send in here. That's interesting, Mike. Getting some lifelink out of your colony that's leaving you in a tough spot. All right, so now we reset our colony, which is not great, but we can replay it and sack it to the salvager for some value. It's not very good. I mean, what do you think? Do we play it as? I mean, they're at 7. I guess we do just replay it, right? And then next turn we can hunt the weak. And I can move this, but it's doing okay over here. Let's move it to this colony so it has better attacks next turn. And then Cobra is still a threatening attacker as a 2/1 because of the Death Touch clause. So we probably just leave this here. And then we can main phase hunt if we need to clear a blocker with a 4/4 salvager. Big turn here for Oppo. They found a 5th mana. Let's see what they can do with it. Ooh, that's pretty good. But I think then we just hunt the weak using our Death Toucher. If we hunt the weak using the Death Toucher, they go to 1 or they chump. This becomes a 2/2 though. Why do you want to move this? Oh, let's see. Wait. I see. Because then they all live. I'm with you now. But then do we have activation here? Can we do it all? Yeah, we can do it all because when they have Cobra Death Touch. Yeah. Mike is saying we can go. We make this into a 4/5 and then put a counter on it. Becomes a 5/6. Although then it's that doesn't work. Mike's not enough because of the pump from the Foundry, right? So it looks like we had to hunt Death Touch, which I'm going to do. Yeah. So we'll get him to 1 and make him get out of it from 1. But let's be careful, Ryan. You got to do this first. Two for 1 to ourselves, but we're trying to get them dead. And if they block, then we kind of made it a 2 for 2. But they may have outs that relate to the chief pumping up a bunch of servos they play or something. Although if they go to 1 and play something that makes a few servos, we're still in a good spot. Let's see what you got, Oppo. Hopefully Exploding Planeswalker, maybe some big stabilization play. Well, they're in the tank. Hopefully this is the equivalent of you see me, like, making absolutely sure I didn't miss a line, or as sure as I can be that I didn't miss a line before scooping. Or sometimes it's a jerk who's like, heh, they're dead. I'm just going to wait till I rope and then make the obvious play and get them. Most people are not like that, though. I had insomnia last night. I could not sleep. I don't know why. I didn't drink any extra caffeine. Nothing was unusual about my day per se, but I could not sleep. And from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Seattle time. Whoa, hold on. Now I got to tell the story another day. We got a cataclysmic gear Hulk to deal with. So almost feels like it was indeed the rude, obvious play. Like, what else were you going to do, Oppo? Artifact is obviously our goggles. And then creature is more interesting. I think we just take the, well, let's see, the colony could grow enough to threaten the Gear Hulk, right? But maybe not before we're dead. And it can't block, right? So we have to give up the colony. It doesn't become an abyss soon enough, unfortunately, without the ability to block. So that's a cool pickup. We could equip. If we equip, we get a 4/5. If we morph the squad and make a token, we can get it to be a 5/6. That does at least bounce off of this thing. We can also squad. Yeah, let's squad and go wide, because we can still sack the thing to the salvager if we want to move back to tall. Yeah, go wide with them at 1 is also a very reasonable line, although it's not like we're gonna, they're not gonna add to the board next turn. That being said, pass the turn, see if we can find our way to that last point of damage from Oppo. Instead, we're going to draw Unlicensed Disintegration and be sad about our splash again. Matrix and Magic Gods all listening, I'm sure. That's true, but they have a lot of mana, a lot of cards. I still think they can come up with a couple of creatures here. Gotta take that to make them have it here, though, because they might not. Maybe they have a couple of 4. All their creatures are 3s and 4s. You know, that they can't quite slip in 2 creatures here. Yeah, it might be locked out on blue. All their creatures might just be 3+ mana. Yeah, gang, not bad. Sneak it through, but we got there. All right. One more to the good, at least 50-50. That always feels good. And now we're closing in on the good jumps. Still sticking with this red splash. Still a little wary of it. It's great removal. But boy, does it suck to mulligan because you missed on your mana. Looks good here, though. I'm going to play the map and don't need to crack it. One nice thing about the map is, like, we don't need to crack it as long as we have other lands to play and don't need green mana. And on that front, we can still disguise our colors. Let's throw around Poisoner. And try to get to hunt the weak levels and kill this thing before it gets out of hand. This can take over a game, but we can get it before it does. Ugh! But that card's not good. But sometimes it picks something off. Oh well. You got me. I'm just mad we've only seen the cub once. I want that cub on the play. I gotta win this game so we can get cub on the play on turn 2. Yeah, hold on a sec, D. Let me figure out my next line. Well, now I got to grab the map so we can try to find another forest next turn and be able to outrider if we want. Let's do that, and then nothing. Just I don't want to strike yet, so we're kind of just passing with nothing on 3, which is kind of not where we want to be. But here's where we are. Anyway, I was saying I had insomnia last night, and I spent an hour arguing with a botany teacher on Twitter about how to apply the order of operations in those, those social media viral solve this math equation fight makers. It's all just to make people fight, and it made us fight. And anyway, I knew I was what I was doing, and I was like, you sure you want to get into this, Ryan? I was like, all right, I'm here. I am, trying to sleep and failing. So, yeah, I just had a PEMDAS fight from 2 to 3 in the morning. Guy was really rude and really mean to me and insulting my intelligence, telling me I didn't understand anything and didn't understand words and I was. And here's the thing: I've been so wrong so many times in my life that I try to be cautious about that stuff because I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe but I looked very carefully. I went back. All right, let's review PEMDAS. Let's review PEMDAS and read on some resources of applying it. Yep, yeah, all that applies here. All right. Anyway, and then so he was really rude and insulted my intelligence multiple times from the platform of a science teacher. And anyway, I laid it all out and then went to sleep and got up this morning, and a bunch of people had piled on him for his silly position, and he deleted all his tweets. So there's a couple ways to. You're saying brackets, but PEMDAS is parentheses. Parentheses or brackets is the P versus the D. And I'll wait and hold, and we can use this on defense. Yeah, so it's like it felt good. I won on the internet last night, everybody. I won on the internet. I asked him to share some. I said, give me some links because I was serious. Like, can you show me a link that helps me understand exceptions to the PEMDAS or something? And he sent me links that did no such thing, but they did provide a really interesting one. So for those of you who are who hate those, let's go. Well, now I'll just kill this thing. But hold on, I'll tell you so he did send me to an article that I found interesting, which was, what about this one? What about this one? Variables. So 2x / 3y minus 1. If x equals 9 and y equals 2, what is the answer there? That's an example, an interesting example of nebulous PEMDAS that I found super interesting. Now let's kill this thing before it gets out of hand anymore with these servos, right? It is poor typesetting, but the idea, ideally, of mathematics is that even if you don't do the parentheses and the brackets, it should still matter. But the implied question here is: do variables imply parentheses? Does 3y imply parentheses? Anyway, I thought that was interesting. But that's what the guy sent me. I'm like, can you link me to some evidence that supports your conclusion to the answer to this question? And he sends me an interesting, but it just looks like he Googled PEMDAS exceptions and then linked me with whatever came up without actually even reading it. You're right, AVB, but, you know, the world loves to be pedantic and the world loves to argue. What does this mean, do you think? What's this about? Probably could be the revolutionary. I'm going to just take this. I'm with you, Matt. I think variables imply parentheses. I mean, I think variables imply parentheses, yeah. Let's just kill that thing. And we can start racing. I thought the flyer was worth killing. I mean, I don't think I could... If I don't kill the flyer, I have to stay back and start blocking. Oh, there is? Which one? What are you talking about? Oh, it's a trap. Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. I thought you were talking about an actual card I played here, not the phrase, it's a trap. But I gotta find it. There it is. Only had to search through 100 memes.
You've activated my trap card! It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!
I'm with you, Pablo. Where's my treasure? It would help the salvager. Hey, I like it. We can play our Pima Outrider. We'll send in first, though, in this race. And... wide or tall, wide or tall. Again, with the salvager, let's go wide because we can always convert it into tall on the salvager. Mike likes Outrider, but I think that... but this Foundry Hornet explained that weird attack. I no longer suspect Rebel. They showed us what that was about. Oh no, that's not what it was about. Never mind. Sorry, Mike. You're right. I thought this was a Rebel thing. So, never mind. See, I'm used to being wrong all the time, which is why I'm so careful in internet fights, because I'm ready to be wrong. Ryan, you might be the idiot here. Don't be an idiot on the internet. So, good point, Mike. We'll see what happens here, though. If they keep attacking in, though, that's fine. I mean, I guess, like, a 4-4 and a thing stuck on 2-2 as a guess better than a 3-3 that's traded off in a 3-3. Well, interesting choice of... I wouldn't have made that... we don't know what's in hand. Maybe there's something in hand to explain that, but weird to use a Hunt the Weak on a servo. So I was obviously right, Mike, because we just got our opponent to use Hunt the Weak on a servo. We can 2-spell here. That's nice. I think we just send in and... they're likely to trade for one of these. They're going to trade for one of these two. Double block and trade, but then we drop 2 creatures. Yeah, they are trying to get one of these dead, and let's let them do that with our follow-up plays here. Our follow-up plays are strong, so... In fact, it's quasi-lethal if we can... Nah, not really. We're not. I was thinking we could somehow present lethal, but not without a good draw. Not the best draw, but we're still in what seems like a great spot, unless Oppo's got something sneaky. Let's find out. No pauses whatsoever. They're probably flooded or something, or they have... I don't know. I mean, obviously 2 lands explains no action whatsoever, but if so, sorry, Oppo, that is some mega flood. Yeah, but it could be more hunts, could be more things that require creatures to work, yeah. Or a splash, yeah. We don't know. But we got there on another nice jump in payout for the event. Well, as has been observed all week, we were at profit when we entered the event, but we're nearly at industry standard profit. Industry standard profit. Isn't that like 20%? It's like kind of should be your target profit margin. The last, I just named it really quickly AVB because the last thing we did was finalize our splash for licensed disintegration. And the word disintegration reminded me of the Cure album. So I went with it. Certainly not spoilery. Nobody on YouTube knew we were going to be green, black, splash red based on a deck called The Cure. Oh, we're gonna keep, and you know, Magic Gods, one time Cub takes over. Anyway, we're gonna keep. We have Poisoner if nothing else, so and some time to draw some green. Ooh, some interesting choices, but Colony's got to be your turn to play, barring some weird info. Although now Cub could be even better. Like, I guess Cub is a little better. Cub is better than Colony. They're very similar in terms of their runaway potential early. But we're going to try, especially with Nature's Way, like we can Nature's Way a 2 toughness thing out of the way. We're going to cross our fingers and hope our Cub lives here. Yeah, it's already pausing, maybe not. I don't know what kills for 2 mana instant speed in the format, though. Yeah, they are similar. You want to get them down early for similar reasons. Oh man, how about that? If we played the Colony. Oh, it could be a strike from here. Yeah. Well, we'll take the 2 for 1. If so, it shows. Yeah, it really shows the power of the Cub. They like had to do that. A bummer, though. A bummer. I wanted to go off with it. Now we can do Druid or Colony. If we do Colony, it gets going sooner, except we take an attack, go down to 2, and really start getting our life total eaten away. I'd rather... yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's fair. It was a 1 for 1. You're right. Never mind. This is a real card. If this had been left as a 1 for 1, I would have said it's not quite. It's like 1.5. But you're right. It's a 1 for 1. Anyway, we're definitely in a Druid. We want more green, and next turn, if we can 2 spell for sure. A Pioneer Colony. They are putting us to the test here, and I like them putting us to the test. I mean, as a strategy from them because it's a free attack. We can. You want to trade for Trick? I guess we can trade for Trick because we still have a 2 spell turn next turn regardless, right? That's what Mike's on about. I do want the second green, but we don't need it immediately, so Mike's right that we should call the bluff. Yeah, that's fine. We're all right with this. As long as we find our green before we need to have a double green spell cast. And that kind of does it. That fixes everything. But not going to worry about that now. I really want to get this Colony going now, so we're going to go Colony Poisoner. Oppo stuck on lands. Notable there. They're playing a great game off of stuck on 3 lands, 1 color. So tip of the cap to Oppo for making something of this. Maybe they're mono black, but unlikely. All right. So now we can go Prism, see about an alternative, but I think we just are gonna, excuse me, punch the Prowler with the Poisoner and start getting in with the Colony. It's not the sweetest use of removal, but I do want the Colony getting in. What, you know, you got to put pressure on while your mana screwed opponent is still mana screwed. But not the Poisoner. No need to trade that off here. Although we could do that too. Artifact. Like, they don't have any artifacts yet. Yeah, Mike and I thinking the same thing. Let's do it. It's still a 1-for-1, and we can get a servo here. And they get no value from the assistant if they block. They found land and second color, so this is Oppo's chance to get back in this. They've gone tall. Tall kind of makes me want to hunt with the servo. But we can also squad ourselves here and potentially 2-spell next turn. If we hunt the weak, yeah, we're just giving up 1 P. I think I like it. Mike says squad and wait. Actually, that is a lot of damage. Like, I'm eagerly trying to get damage in this turn, but if we set up squad, we do set a lot of damage up for the future. Do you like going wide or servoing? Or tall? What are the considerations there? Tall gives us possible hunt the weak. I mean, not here. Yeah. More menace power? All right. Elgar liked going wide. I bought into Mike's tall argument or thought. I hope they attack. If they want to race, that's probably good for us here at this point. Well, they can block Menace, but you got to give up their bug to do so. It might be worth it for them. We can, but I like hunt on the squad, hunt killing the squad, and then offering the trade seems fine, right? Mike says, wait, we can't attack with the colony if we do that. What's up, Mike? What do you like? Yeah. We're just lagging a bit. We landed on the same place. Hunt with squad onto bug. Oh, sorry, we are in a different place. Yeah. They can still trade. Are we okay? I guess then our colony... I mean, they... 5-3 trades for both. What do you mean? They have a turtle to block with. If we send 5-3, they double block... Oh, sorry, 3-3-3. Sometimes... I got there, Mike. Thanks. But where are you? So you want to fight the bug? They still just trade. All right. Well, I'm running out of time here. I got to do something. I'll run with Mike's line because I'm out of time. And then offer both of these. Just the 5-1, but we are draining. Only squad. Yeah, I get too eager with that. You're right. Everybody's right, but me. Everybody's right, but me today. But not last night. I was right on the internet last night. Yeah, right on the internet. Now we've got the double block. I kind of like that trade. No, that guy fled with his tail between his legs. You can go look at my final tweet to him. It was like, I see. Shred the evidence. Final answer. Do we need to do this? Life total's a resource. I think we just take it. Rabble, rabble, you're killing a squad. Rebel, rebel, don't get mud. I don't know. I'm okay with this. Because it sets up this. Yeah. Nice. Well, we were 0-1. I threatened to trophy. Well, I threatened to 7-0. We didn't do that, but we're still... Trophy is still on the table. Thanks to chat, covering my sorry-ass butt. Now, this is pretty good. We have our unsupported splash at the moment, but what a great looking start this is. Goggles are a turn late, but I'm not going to complain. Yeah. Having a lot of accounts in bronze makes for some easy wins here and there. Let's see. Probably not work. I mean, we could go Goggles Nature's Way, and then we have Salvager to pick up the Goggles. I don't love Nature's Way just to get this in a turn early, though. Goggles Equip and Go is much better. Thanks, Mike. I don't love spending it on this, but we don't need to move it over here. And I like it, especially against red, it gets it out of a lot of burn range, so that's good too. Oh man, they're gonna try and race the colony's self-damage. That makes some sense, I guess. But we are obviously just cracking away with this thing. Yeah, now the colony's big enough on its own that it doesn't need the goggles anymore, so we can move it over here and have a nice defender. And then Nature's Way next turn is gonna punch something pretty well too. You're not getting that much better at Magic when you're beating up on bronze players, though. But I sure like winning more than losing. Nature's Way, since it gets the job done here. And then get in. Oh, I don't even... let's see. They have a double block that they might... Yeah, they have a good double block, so... Yeah, we could do mana efficiency. It's the unconditional versus conditional that makes me want to be mana inefficient to save unconditional for their next big thing. But you have a point, Hat. Especially because we could draw a card that allows us to 2-spell next turn. Another 3-drop, any 3-drop really lets us 2-spell next turn. So that's fair too. All right, I'm gonna go with Hat's line here and do it this way. They look like they're a small ball deck anyway, right? It's not like they're green and they're gonna play some beasties. And if that's just a straight chump, great. They might burn it out here, but we'll see. Helix, probably. Yeah, that's all right. They 2-for-1 themselves, and the thing that was eating up our life total is at least gone. Not that it doesn't matter doing it this way or the other way, but clears the path is the bottom line. Oop, no, that's not what we're doing. Yep, that's what I talked through, and really why I did it is the possibility of a 2-spell turn this turn, and we got there. Hey, Double D's, welcome. Oh yeah, that's fair. I've already shown that I don't recognize the vigilance on this card, so I just did that again. Doesn't matter, I'm never punished. How about a mountain? Mountain off the top for disintegration win. Yeah, Oppo doing really well here too. That's the nice thing about low-down decks is they can survive in a mana screw situation. We don't have a great attack with the Cobra. We send in the Salvager and yeah, squad-wide snack is interesting. How big can we build it up? Let's definitely start there. Take a look. And don't want to move the Gogs right now. So now, if they have 3, 4, 5, if we can get this to 6, they start chumping. It does take a couple of creatures, but then they chump and we have a 3-1 Menace and a 6-7 Salvager. It's a little bit all in, because they could then, but we have the equipment to move around as well onto yeah, I think it's worth it. Well, if we go 4-5, we're offering a trade. You like just the one? Let's start there and see what that looks like. All right, we do this. And then we're looking at if they choose to block with everything, we leave them with just a servo with these 2 back. Yeah, that's totally worth it. Chat, again, correct. Probably just chumping with servo, I think. I mean, it's really tough for them if they go to 1 servo. I wanted to attack with Cobra when it, like next turn it makes more sense to me, but maybe I should have. Like, they just trade it here and then what? I don't know. The fact that they had the chump option made me not want to offer the Cobra, but maybe I should have. I still want the mountain off the top to just win with disintegration, but Oppo sees the writing on the wall anyway. I don't think it made any difference. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm often wrong about things, but If we attack with the Cobra there, they trade it off for a servo, and which is exactly what they would have done on the following turn. So there was no difference between what have happened between those two attacks, but by waiting, I gave myself a chance to draw something that might enable us to not trade and just keep. Splash is not working out. I'm going to stubbornly stick with it because we're at 6 and 2 here. But yeah, more lessons about the perils of splashing. And more suggestion that maybe even good removal isn't enough if you've already got good removal, which we did. I mean, we were cutting an onslaught. I could, like, why, we should, I think probably with the way our deck is configured, it would make more sense to eliminate the splash and put in the second onslaught, for example. Too late. Too late. But one more chance to try and cub it up. I talked up the cub in the draft, and we've certainly seen its value in that, in how much oppos have to get rid of it or they're in serious trouble, but I actually want it to work. Come on, Cubby. You got a World Series under your cap now. Under, you know, we can do this. Bah. Cub on the draw is so much different from Cub on the play. Cub on the play, in this case, even wouldn't have gotten there, they'd have a blocker, but gotta make him nervous. Yeah, Cub was a standard monster. I mean, it's good enough in limited, but in constructed, where you can turn one ether whatever, hunt a land and attune with ether. Attune with ether into Long Tusk Cub was a standard staple for a bit. Now, what are we ditching? Probably the Onslaught as too expensive when we got to hunt the weak. And Prism. Prism gives us a draw and fixes our red. Maybe Onslaught and Hunt the Weak, and we have our hard removal. I mean, we got Demolition, and we got an attacker. But also, all this removal lets us try and get the Cub through eventually. I'm going to go with... I'm going to make a hasty choice here and choose Prism. I'm just trying to keep my active value here, but I could regret that. We might wish we had that. And I send in, it's just a straight trade. I think, you know, there's a chance they don't come up with another blocker here, but yeah, it just felt unlikely. And it still doesn't really give us the play we want, but I'm at least going to hunt the weak and get a counter on it. We can't attack, though, because with the damage, they do get to just block again. But now we are at a 3-3 with another piece of removal in hand. So if they come up with one big creature, we're in good shape. Yeah! Or they shatter my dreams. That's the other thing that could happen. Still like where we're at-ish. And now I punished... oh, Prism, how I forsook you. After all the discussion about this, only fair. Although I was saying I would have replaced it with another Onslaught, which is uncastable here too. I'm going to make a servo. If we do find some red, it gives us some damage, and I like I like the argument that this is fine on its own. We're going to demolish that again. It's the name of the deck, too. Funny. Gonna leave it. No need to eat anything right now. More lands. No 2-for-1 if we send in with the squad. No 2-for-1s at all, but we could... You pitched land? Wow, that's ballsy, Rob. But I mean, we're where I got for you. We're flooding a bit now, but I wasn't willing to go to 2 lands in hand, even with the Prism, because if we did that, Rob, then we're like, all right, now we got to draw land off the Prism. It's like, well, we could have just kept the land. So it was a tough spot. Time ran out. I made a call. And speaking of, what's the call here? Are we offering squad for any of this? I think no. Another card we haven't seen is our Appetite. Would like to Appetite this Arrest and get our Cub back. It's down a counter, but it would still be reasonable to have on board. Although if I get to put whatever I want to the top of my deck, it would not be Appetite for the Unnatural. What we would want, like an Outrider or just our Mountain. Use the Disintegration. I don't know. That's not bad. Trade off with the Hawk. All right, so dead artifacts make servos. Understood. Well, I assume that, yeah. If they attack, we'll race in the air. You're right. Like I said, trade, but really it's threatened to trade. What's going to happen is that they stay back, and probably we stay back. Still no attacks I want to make here, though. But if we needed to draw lands no matter what, why put us 1 land farther behind? Yeah. Because it's not a guarantee of drawing lands. I mean, I guess, Rob, if you could 100% guarantee me that Prism would produce a land, yeah, then you're right. But it wasn't 100% that it would produce a land. And I would have felt awfully silly staring at 2 lands and a Prism and, you know. Yeah, I definitely was not pitching lands, but I was not sure about the Prism over some of the other removal. But since we were trying to cub it, or was it, yeah, we were trying to cub it, I liked keeping the removal. Basically, I was setting up to try and make the cub work, and they still got us on that. Now we are sacking Screecher to Salvager and sacking this, and then we can at least offer a 2-for-1-ish, half card here or whatever. And we have an artifact behind, so let's do that. I'll take this trade if they want a double block. Leaves them with 1 card, and we get a Cobra and our mascot. Cool. Let's see now. Still a 2-for-1 if they want to block. No need to make the Outrider no need to make a servo to sack to the Salvager to make it a 5-5. That doesn't do much. So we're going to make another 4-4, and we'll do that after combat, after we offer this Salvager. And even the Cobra, and maybe at this point even the Squad. Like 1-for-1, the Squad is fine with them at 10 and 1 card. So let's... I think we send them all. Why not everything? Especially with the Outrider behind. I think it's... Why hat? What's the worst? Okay, so if we attack with everything and they go for, say, Hawk and Mechanic on the Squad and trade off here, we get them for 4 and then their board is virtually empty. I'm going to go with my line hat, but I hear you. They are making the block we figured, and we want to kill the thing that has a extra rules text that's still relevant. And then hopefully we just deflate them here with a Pima Outrider 4-4. Don't fret, the colony is here. Let's see what they've got for this. We may play the colony. Yeah, this makes a lethal colony, so we'll throw it out there. Yeah, gang, how about it? I was only off by 1 loss. We went 0-1, and I said we would 7-0, but instead we 7-1. Not bad, not bad. And poetically, we trophy with our namesake card stuck in hand, having never cast it the whole event. That is really a huge takeaway there, though, gang. I mean, we got the win, and that's great. We got the trophy, that's great. But that lesson is quite real. We had what conventional wisdom would suggest is a reasonable splash. We have 1, 2, 3 sources for the color, and it's a great removal spell. But I think in this case, it needed to be better to be worth splashing. Like, for example, just to use a recent card, let's say for whatever reason we had the mythic, the red-black mythic 5/3 flyer from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. That's a splash here, right? That's like, okay, when we land that, it is like a game-ending thing to do. So it's totally worth it to, in those cases, splash the things that if you land them, just basically win you the game. Or if we were in a spot where, gosh, we're low on removal in this deck. Like, this deck is looking pretty darn good, except we have not much interaction. We're not happy with our interaction. Okay, let's splash some removal because it really is gonna snatch some wins from the jaws of defeat by having some interaction that the deck didn't have otherwise. But despite the trophy, I'm gonna say pretty conclusively this. And despite the trophy, and not because of the results we experienced, I think just talking through this here, I'm pretty convinced that this was a mistake to splash. Simply because the job we were asking this card to do, we already had done. We had Monstrous Onslaught, Daring Demolition, Hunt the Weak, Vengeful Rebel, Nature's Way, Subtle Strike, and even a Poisoner to trade off in combat, right? So I think we had this position filled, and we decided to overfill it with a very difficult employee. Exactly. We cut green removal to splash removal, which is a great sign that that was a mistake. However, I still don't necessarily think putting back the onslaught is correct. I actually think I would go with just another Foundry Screecher, or maybe just one of these 3-drops. Or another Cobra, maybe. Yeah. But I think that's correct. We'll, of course, happily take the trophy. Oh, whatever. Happily take the trophy and the lesson learned. Now, let's be more circumspect about splashing. And what I'm going to take away from that is, what am I going to do differently moving forward? And you can help call me on this. Whenever I look to possibly consider a splash, we must ask the job question. We got to ask the job question and make sure that we're splashing something that's doing a job the deck doesn't have or truly doesn't have enough of. And then it becomes worth the risk we took to our mana base. As it was, you can see that it was not worth it there for the job it was doing. Anyway, I had a fun day, a little loopy because of my low sleep. And really appreciative of chat today, having my back on some of my more questionable misses on board reading. But we forgive ourselves. We got the trophy. Tough to play and talk and entertain and all that stuff. But I feel like we got it all done. And I really just, I play perfect Magic if I want to. What I like to do is engage the audience. And I feel like when I make some of these intentional mistakes, it really helps chat. Really pumps up chat. You feel like, yeah, we're good at this. We're helping that guy. So, I throw some mistakes around here and there for you to find, and it makes the whole experience a lot better for everybody. So great, you found them all. 100% of the intentional mistakes I made there. Good work. I'm sure you saw them on YouTube as well. Bye, YouTube friends. Hey, Mama, I'm just trying to be like my model from Twitter. Just find a way to never be wrong. Trump it up. Never apologize. Never admit a single mistake. Become president.